Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. So in this lesson we're going to create the buttons for the main menu and we're also going to test everything out. So we'll begin by coming here between the begin group line and the end group. I'm sure you remember we left a little gap in the last video specifically for this. So we'll begin by saying GUI dot, and this is a function that many of you may not have used before. What we're going to do is say set next control name. Let's open and close those brackets. We'll close the line off and we'll put the little speech marks inside the brackets. Now we use this function when we want to set a string to a GUI button. So we have a string array. These are our strings up to now, although we will be adding more, as I always say. And what we're going to do is copy this underscore one player. Let's come back down and we'll just paste that naming convention in. So that's as simple as this line works really. We're saying set the control name to one player, and that's going to be for the button we're going to create below, in this case the first button. So let's get that into the comments. We'll say set name to one player, and I always encourage you to read about these on the Unity website, and there's also various other sources on the net. There's a limited amount of time I can explain these functions within these videos, but that is basically how this works. So now we've set the name, which is going to be one player, and this is no text, this is just tying it in to this array here. With that done, let's create the button, and this is just the same as if we were creating a normal GUI button. So if open and close brackets, inside the brackets GUI dot button, let's open and close again, inside those brackets new rect. We'll open and close brackets again. We'll come inside this first set of brackets now. So the first open and close, and we're going to say 0, 0, comma. So this is the button position. But rather than being up here in the corner of the screen as normal, 0, 0 represents the position within the GUI group, which we've already assigned a screen position to. And we'll continue that on by saying underscore, and we want main menu button width, comma, main menu button height. And we're going to come here after the first close bracket. We're going to say comma, and then the text we want on the screen. So two speech marks, come inside, and I am just going to put one player. We then should have two closed brackets. We'll come to the end of the line, we'll open and we will close. Let's break this up for commenting. So I'll enter here, here, and again here. And let's comment this line now. So this first line we'll just say create button. The next line we'll put at this position, but we'll also add within the GUI group. We'll come here by these dimensions, and you will want to experiment with these values. If we come up here to find something that fits your project, but I'm just going to use these values for now just for testing. And we'll come to this line and we'll just say and print speech marks 1 player. And we'll come inside these brackets here, and what we want is to say underscore selected button equals 0. Into the comments we'll say set selected button to 0, and the next line we're going to say main menu button press. So let's have a look. Main menu button. So actually this naming convention here, let's just copy that. So we're actually going to call this function our little switch block. Let's just paste that in. We'll open and close brackets. We'll close the line off. And into the comments. So we'll say call. Let's paste that in. Main menu button press function. It's okay, I just could not see it on the IntelliSense then. But never mind, we've done it. So we've created the button. We're setting the string name. And we're saying if pressed, call this function. And we're setting the selected button to be equal to 0. And here, this is what we're switching. So we say set this to 0, we call this function, and then we call case 0 because that's tied to the selected button, which is starting 1 player game to true. We're playing the audio clip, and that is all that's required per button. So let's just copy the whole block and we'll paste that in twice. So we just need to go through and change what needs to be changed for the following 2 buttons. So the first one, we're just changing 1 player to 2 player. We'll change what we're printing on the button to 2 player. Selected button is equal to 1 this time. And finally here we can change all this. It's going to be underscore quit. We'll change the comment. We'll also change what we're printing to just quit. I'm going to use, at least for now. Obviously you can print anything you like on the buttons, but I'm going to keep it simple again for the purposes of this tutorial, and set selected button to 2 this time. So the only other thing we need to do is change the position. So we have 0, 0 originally, so it can remain at 0 the first time. The second one we need to change to, and we want main menu button height, because we need a button's height different plus a little gap, which is going to be our plus, and the main menu GUI offset. Let's just tidy up the comments. And that is absolutely fine. So let's just copy that. And we're going to come to the quit button. Now this time we need 2 button heights. So we'll say times 2 here. And the offset also needs to be of times 2. So let's just bring that comment back into line, and we're going to save it there. And what we're going to do is downsize monodevelop. We'll wait for the script to recompile. Please don't worry about this error here. These are just being created since the update to Unity. This one, as I said, we're not actually going to be doing anything with starting to play a game until we've actually got something up and running first, and then we'll come back and we'll implement the code for the 2-player. But let's just clear that down. Let's come to our build settings. We'll make sure that all our scenes are here, scenes in build, and that they're in the correct order. So splash screen, controller warning, main menu, and choose character. Although, you know, we're not going this far at the moment. We just want to see the main menu working. So if you can bear with me one moment, I'm just going to plug in my Xbox 360 controller. It is a wired one. So there we go. Let's plug that in. So the joystick's connected. Xbox 360 for Windows. Now, as you can see, I've loaded it into the splash screen. So make sure that is the scene you have loaded. And we're going to come to the console. Let's clear that down. Now, we've already tested the warning screen with the controller both disconnected and connected. So we don't need to retest that, but let's hit play. So here's our splash screen. We know this works. We've tested this before. And let me just free up the mouse cursor. Let's just clear these down as we go along. We've tested this without the gamepad as well, and it works correctly, but it's connected. The game will start. So as you can hopefully hear, I'm actually using the analog stick then, and we were able to move up and down. So let's just try that again. And we'll let it load through. And it loaded into the empty scene just because of what I was doing with the mouse at the time. So I haven't completely disabled the mouse controls as yet. But that's something, again, we will be doing at a later date. So it just recognises the gamepad inputs. But for testing, I need to keep the mouse sort of semi-functional. So if you can just bear with me with that. So here we go in the main menu. And as you can see, hopefully, or at least hopefully you can see how the buttons are highlighted with the... when I actually move the analog stick on the controller. I don't know if you can hear the clicking of the analog stick. I am trying to do it a little heavy-handed, so hopefully you can hear it. So I can't go any lower than quit. So there we go. And as you can see, we can now select different buttons with the actual gamepad. Now, yes, it looks a little bit barren at the moment, does the main menu, but we'll work on sprucing everything up at a later date once we actually get some more functionality in place. And yes, it does work. We can load in. As you can see, I'll just hit the A button and we fade out and we load into the choose character screen. And we'll be doing, or beginning, actually creating that scene properly in the next lesson. But I think we'll leave it here for this video. So as always, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time. And until then, as always, bye for now.